So, at the beginning, the older Kanan's narration told us, the mistake is getting too comfortable when you're at the top. But two major questions we had going into episode 2 was, who was the snitch, and what was Detective Howard's plan? But it was a heartbreaking scene at the end when Raq killed Scrappy, which was very reminiscent to when Ghost killed Roller, because Ghost made a huge mistake, and we all saw the impact it had on Ghost. So did Raq make the right call? Did she even get the right snitch? I don't think so, and I think this is one she's gonna regret. The tear from Marvin's eye and Lou walking away just before Raq pulled the trigger was telling in so many ways. Neither of them wanted to swing on Scrappy, because I think they both had their doubts on whether Scrappy would actually flip on them, and based on the evidence in episode 1 and Scrappy's emotional rant where he said he lost one eye and still held it down for Raq, but they still chose Worrell over him. I think Raq's made a huge mistake in bringing Worrell on board and killing one of her most loyal soldiers. And is this the beginning of the end of Raq's empire? At the moment, we can argue where Raq and her organization are the ones playing chess. Ironically, Unique was the one who is playing checkers, literally, because he's been starved and Raq has made sure he's lost everything. But regardless of whether he's lost everything or not, revenge will be on his mind and he'll be back. But we're gonna run through all things Scrappy's death, Unique's return to Queens, Jukebox, and Detective Howard. But let's start with where episode 2 started, and that was with Raq and Howard. And straight off the bat, Howard told Raq, the kid, he can't shoot for shit. And so it dawned on Raq, he was faking his memory loss, and I'm sure we all knew he was. But he had an answer for everything that Raq threw at him with the test results he had to confirm he was Kanan's father, and now he's done waiting for Raq. The next time he sees Kanan, he's gonna tell him himself. But these are the layers we spoke about before the season started. At the end of the day, he's just a kid, and we saw Juke and Kanan doing what kids do, watching a movie, having pillow fights, and it matched up with what Howard said to Raq. Kanan ain't built for this game, not yet anyway. But before this conversation finished, Howard told Raq she's got a snitch in her organization, Scrappy. And the reason why he told Raq was because he's not looking out for her, he's looking out for his son, Kanan. And later on in the episode, we saw Howard finding out key details about the investigation that could potentially put Kanan at risk. They found blood on Unique's jacket, which they haven't found a match for, but definitely does belong to Kanan, but also a crackhead that saw a kid. Now of course, they can't go on a crackhead's word, but if they realize this blood belongs to Kanan, then he's in trouble. So we may see Detective Howard do some shit to protect Kanan. So where we can argue Howard is doing his part to save Kanan, Raq's got her own way, but one which involves lies on top of manipulation. And ironically, this was the same thing she bashed Marvin for in season 1.
So focused on telling a new lie to cover up the old lie that he don't hear what I'm saying, would you shut the fuck up?
So as powerful as Raq is in season 2, she definitely is a little shaken. She's trying to hold on to this position with Kanan, knowing her relationship with him isn't what it used to be, and the look that Kanan gave to Raq after she fed him more lies tells us he doesn't believe her, and he may start digging for the truth himself. But let's talk about Raq's very own Roller moment, because after Howard fed Raq the information about Scrappy, she told Marvin and Lou. But Lulu, who was Raq's right hand man in season 1, said Scrap ain't no snitch, he bled for them and he lost an eye for them, and I definitely agree. But Scrappy couldn't stay away from the cards and dice, and Raq did warn him, but they needed evidence, they couldn't just go on the word of Detective Howard. So Raq put Marvin up to finding out some information, but just before he did, we saw the meeting with Worrell. Raq brought him in for a talk. She told him Unique may be back, but all the corners are dead and Dean is about to cut him off. But Raq wanted to bring Worrell on board because he's one hell of an earner. She also wants to expand and make sure Unique has no comeback. Now we can sit here and debate whether Raq was right or wrong to bring Worrell on board, but I think Scrappy made that argument for us. He was pissed at the fact they not only brought Worrell on board, but he was the same person who cost Scrappy his eye and made it clear how he's hurt them, but he still did what needed to be done. But what hurt him even more was they gave Worrell a position higher than Scrap with the 40s project, when Scrappy had been down with them since he was 14, when he's been hustling, swinging, cooking, and whatever needed to be done, he done it. But Marvin had a job to do, And let's not get it twisted, Scrappy did lie about his whereabouts from the night before because he was brought into the precinct, but he said he was helping his cousin Ebony, and Marvin checked this out for himself, and of course Scrap was lying. But at the end of the day, I think Scrap knows he carried on gambling and he fucked up, so either way, I think Scrap was gonna go. But Marvin did tell Raq he was 100%. Now neither Marvin or Lou wanted to say for sure that Scrappy was a snitch, but Raq was adamant because she heard from her inside source. And if it was true, they could all go away forever. But Lou wasn't having it, and he definitely wasn't swinging again, not after D-Wiz. But the decision was already made, and so they brought Scrappy into a warehouse. And what made this even more sad was the fact Scrappy was full of excitement until he got a gun to the head. Raq didn't even give him a chance to explain or talk like Ghost did with Roller. She just pulled the trigger. Lou turned away and didn't even look. And we saw Marvin shed a tear because this was someone who'd been down with them since he was 14. And now it is only a matter of time before Raq realizes Scrappy wasn't the snitch, and it probably was his mom who was the CI. And that was Scrappy's death. A really sad death, because I don't believe he was a snitch. But let's run through the other storylines. And with Raq knowing her money is being chewed away by rats, she wants to invest, but is it too little too late? Let's see how far she goes with her wanting to purchase a high-end property and what it leads to. Now, one person who can't afford anything is Unique, and it showed. He's desperate. He was staying at Jerome's mom's place playing checkers, and he had a real tough time with Dean, who made it clear he was done because he was family in the eyes of the NYPD. He also went to his tailoring shop, which showed it was raided and trashed, to then Worrell telling him he's working for Raq, and things really are flipped upside down for Unique, to him saying having people clean his shoes, to now this. But this won't stop Unique. The alliance he made in jail will definitely come in use over the next few episodes. But let's talk about Jukebox looking for answers when it comes to her mom Kenya. But we do need to start with Marvin, because we saw him at his first anger management class. But I think it is coming where we see Marvin open up to what really triggers him, which will hopefully make him understand why he's never really connected with Juke. Now, one person who Juke's always had a good relationship with is Raq, because Raq didn't just raise Kanan, she also raised Juke. But Raq put it into her mind that Kenya wasn't cut out to be a mother, but it didn't stop Juke searching for answers. Raq taught Juke in season 1, sometimes having a cop on your side isn't such a bad thing, and we saw Juke take a leaf out of Raq's book. So we saw her asking for a favor from Detective Burke, and it's always a favor for a favor, something Uncle Lou taught her, so Burke will be back for hers, especially considering we saw her in the firing line at the precinct from Nicole's mom. She's someone who seems like she's very well connected, and she also wants Juke's head, as well as blaming Detective Burke. So this storyline isn't over, and neither is Burke meddling in things she shouldn't be. The captain made a point of how she shouldn't have got involved, but that's just who Burke is, and she's gonna continue to get involved. And when it comes to Howard's shooter, and I'm sure she's gonna be the first to uncover it was Kanan. But Juke did eventually track down her mom, and this was our first look at Kenya, who I'm sure we're gonna get more of in episode 3. Now, Kanan wasn't much of a predominant figure in episode 2, but one thing which caught my attention was the way this cop made Kanan and Famous feel so small for selling mixtapes on the corners. I'm sure we all saw the look on Kanan's face, and we all know how much Kanan hated cops in power, and his history and interaction with them would definitely have stuck with him. Famous was also kicked out of his crib, and with Jessica on her way to LA, I can only see Famous entering the game, regardless of whether Lou gives him another shot or not. Now, one person who's definitely getting her shot is Ziza. So we were introduced to Ziza's manager, Cartier Dunsfarid, who really did suck up all the energy in this room, just like the older Kanan's narration mentioned. Now, he made a deal with Lou to release a single with Ziza, and then potentially sign on with Bulletproof Records. Now, Cartier knows Lou from Lanes, and the other spots they hit. Now, I can actually see him being Lou's new partner, because sooner or later he's gonna be done with Crown, especially because he found out about Crown and Jessica and how he got her a job in LA, who I thought may not make it to LA, and she was on my death predictions. But let's see what happens with Jessica going forward. But that was episode 2, and of course the major talking point is Scrappy's death. Did Raq get it right, or will this be one she regrets? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.